Hey guys, this is Brandon McReynolds. This is Clear 28 podcast, proven, driven, born to perform. And today we sit down with NASCAR Cup Series driver Noah Gragson. All right, so Noah, welcome to the show. I'm super happy to have you on here. Obviously, our history and time that we've spent together, personally, professionally, man, we go so far back from racing against each other in the K&N series, ARCA series, to some of our run-ins in the early days. But I think just to fire it off, you know, one of the things that we always try to do is just get some more background on you. You know, obviously I know a lot about you. I know a lot of fans out there that follow you. You got a great following on social media. Being in the Cup Series now, you know, you've made a big name for yourself. What were the early days like growing up racing in Las Vegas? And like your mom and dad, they don't have a racing background. You lived in Las Vegas. Like, what was day one like for you, and how did you get involved in motorsports?
Never grew up in racing. I know it's a lot different than probably your background. I mean, you were born into it, going to the racetrack and spending your early days at the track. And I always saw it. We used to have a neighbor at the house that I grew up at across the street. And I remember probably my earliest memory of racing was going over to his house on must have been a Sunday. And I remember watching cars race around Sonoma. I didn't know the track at the time, but I just remember them going through turn 11 and them showing that. This was probably 2003, 2004. And that's probably my earliest memory of actually seeing NASCAR and racing. And then I went to it was IndyCar or Champ Car race with my dad. They had a street race probably late 2000s, down in Vegas. It was a street race. They went under this tunnel and stuff, and went with our good friend Jerry Stanley and his son JT to this race, and we're in this, I guess, suite booth, and it was a lot of fun. There's this Australian lady there that I remember, which was pretty cool, and I just remember the car zipping by. I was like, man, this is sweet. And then always enjoyed watching X Games, dirt bikes, mountain bikes, snowboarding, skateboarding, and that's what I kind of grew up doing. Yeah. And so when I finally got the chance to race, would have been probably going to Pole Position Raceway. That's a little indoor electric go-kart track in Vegas, and went there with my dad. He didn't really know anything about racing, and then I loved it. I was like, man, this is the coolest place in the world. Yeah. Went out to Riley Herbst, lived up the street from me in Vegas, and I played all the stick and ball sports and whatnot. We went to Pole Position, went out to one of Riley's races. He was racing these off-road carts called modified trophy carts, and I remember standing in turn one during practice. It was his first practice, and I climbed up the catch fence and sat on the catch fence, and I was like, man, this is pretty sweet. Like, watching them like kind of go under my feet on the entry to the corner.
And how old were you?
I
like
was
roughly?
Probably 11.
Oh dang!
At this time.
So you're pretty late in comparison
10 or
to
11?
most drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is sick. Like, I didn't know anything about racing or anything, but watched it a little bit, and I was like, I could do that. Like, yeah. So Riley comes by under my feet. He gets back in the pit area after practice, and I'm like, did you see me? Did you see me?
Hanging
Did you
on
see
the
me
fence.
out there?
Yeah.
And so he's like, no, dude, where were you? I'm like, look, next time you go in practice, I was on the top of the fence. And he thought I just crawled up a little bit. No, I was on top of this catch fence in the turn one at
That's awesome.
The off-road track. At turn one, it was a short course track. And he comes back in after the second practice. He's like, dude, get off of there. Like, you're going to get me in trouble. And that's how, like, naive I was about racing. Like, I just didn't know where you could or couldn't go. Riley was like, yeah, we're going on this race. He was, like, my hero. Yeah. Because he was racing.
Yeah.
He was the only guy
cool
I
kid.
knew. Yeah. He was the only guy I knew who raced. So I was like, man, this guy pretty much owns this place. Like, I'm with Riley. I'll go do whatever I want, you know? Yeah. And, we bought RC cars in the pits and stuff. And then I ended up getting shipped off to military school, 7th and 8th grade of my life. And
how was that? How was that? Did you like it, not like it? I mean,
it was cool. It sucked at the time, but it was definitely like one of those things where you look back on it and you're like, man, I I gained a lot of friendships through it. I mean, there's a buddy I golf with out in Vegas. I was sitting in the locker room after golfing, and I recognized this voice, and they kept saying Blake, and then somebody said my last name, and he's like, wait, is that Noah? So this kid, Blake Neville, he was my quad leader. So 7th and 8th grade, we were in these dorm rooms, and then we had an older classman who was in high school that I think he might have been in 10th grade when I was in 7th grade. There's 4 corners to this dorm room, and in one of the corners were, a bedroom with 2 guys that slept in there. Mm-hmm. It was 2 to a dorm, but Blake Neville was our quad leader, so he was the older kid that kind of watched over us and advised us. So fast forward, 10 years, and now he is 10 plus years. We're sitting there at the same golf course talking, and now we golf together.
That's cool.
He came out to a race this year in Kansas, and he's actually playing like mini tour stuff, trying to make it pro in golf.
Cool.
So he's really, really good at golf. So no, it was cool. It was on the beach, so you kind of had 2 options. I was a little shithead growing up, so you had 2 options, right? And I still am probably a shithead, but I mean,
we all are.
Yeah, we all
are
more than anyone. But
yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was a smart mouth, and
Yeah.
probably too wise for my own good.
Yeah.
And they say wise guy. That was probably me.
Yeah.
But you had 2 options when you got there. You could take the role of I'm gonna do the right thing, or I'm gonna do the wrong thing. And the right thing, your life is pretty easy. And if you want to do the wrong thing, you're gonna get disciplined for it. And it was cool because you could earn, like, they would do room inspection every day, so you can earn merit, what they call merits or demerits.
Yeah.
And if you got like a demerit, it was like 30 minutes of marching in this rectangle in the middle of the school. And
oh wow.
So you knew every kid that had a demerit, because at 4 o'clock or whenever in the afternoon after school got out, you would see the kids that would be marching around that rectangle.
Yeah, you're exposed.
And there were times where it was pretty rare when I had to march around there. Maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Some kids were out there every day, but you learn pretty quick on, like, all right, I'm gonna have the best looking uniform. Like, there's these things called shirt stays, and you put them on. You have to like tuck your shirt in. It's like a button-down shirt, and then you put these. They're almost like suspenders, but they clip to the bottom of your shirt. Mm-hmm. They run down your pant leg around your foot.
Oh wow.
And it keeps your shirt like down and tight.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to have the cleanest, tightest looking shirt, so I had like 3 on each side.
Nice.
And so like we'll get married. I took it serious, and I think probably a lot of people that don't know me, from looking from the outside, I'm probably misunderstood.
Yeah.
But yeah, just little details like that, like my room. I'm probably not the neatest guy, but I figured out a way around and a solution to things. So, like, they would come in for room inspection every day, and I would just shove everything in a drawer. If you ask,
you had a strategy.
Yeah, I had a good strategy. So,
yep.
I don't know if I fooled them or what it was.
They probably walked out of there like,
but dude, I had so many merits racked up, and like it restarted like every semester or every month, something like that. I forget. But once you got to like 40 merits, you could start getting local liberty. So we could go out in the town and go get dinner or something on Thursdays.
Oh, that's cool.
But if you got like 40 merits, you could go out on Tuesdays too. So like now you start becoming a little businessman, because you're like, hey, I earned all these merits. You guys can't go into town.
Yeah.
I'll go buy you a burrito for $6 and you pay me $10 for the burrito. And so now you're kind of making side money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could go. It was right on the beach in Carlsbad, California, Army Navy Academy. So that was pretty cool to be able to go down and surf. I mean,
yeah, you're a pretty good surfer.
Yeah, I would surf. 7th grade year during my spring break, I had been going to pole position in the summers and stuff, but I lived, in Carlsbad, California for those 2 years.
Right.
But I would go-kart when I'd be back in Vegas. My dad or Riley's dad would drop us off at Pole Position Raceway. It'd be like $100 for all you could drive, and there'd be a lot of out-of-towners being Vegas. It was right on the strip, so a lot of guys would come in and they see us two little guys. I mean, super short, just kicking everyone's ass in there.
Yeah.
And so we'd like kind of go slow and play dumb.
Yep.
And then we'd start betting like the tourists that would come in there.
That's
like,
awesome.
You know, just 30-year-old dudes that
Yeah.
are on their high horse, probably made some money at the casino the night before. And
Yeah. What
still
are these
pretty
kids
hungover
doing?
from the club or whatnot. And
Yep.
we'd hustle them and say, all right, man, like, we're not very good. Like, let's race. Like, put $100 on it. And we didn't have any money in our pocket, but we knew we'd beat them. So
Yeah.
we bet a couple guys, and they'd get angry. But 7th grade year of Army Navy Academy, it was on my spring break. It was a Wednesday of my spring break, and my dad was like, "Hey, do you want to go out to the racetrack?" And I got a guy I work with. His kids race, Frank Moretti and his son and daughter, Gino and Gianna Moretti. They were racing bandoleros out there. And so we went out to the bull ring in Las Vegas. I tested this bandolero. I remember going out there, and we were on the freeway going to the racetrack. And my dad's like, "Hey, if you like this, like, there's a race this weekend. You know, it's a Wednesday. There's a race on Friday and Saturday. If you like this, let's test out this car and see if you like it." And I already knew before I even got to the track that I was going to be racing that weekend because I already knew I was going to like it. It's just if I could convince him.
Were you nervous, like, going out there that you remember, like, just being young and not knowing?
I don't know if I was, like, really nervous going there. I was more excited.
Yeah.
But then, like I ran thousands of laps at Pole Position Raceway, but I'd never been in, like, a real race car. And I think kind of the nervousness set in, like, man,
This is happening.
Like,
Yeah.
almost like if I was at, like, the NFL draft or something, which it wasn't. It didn't really matter,
But
but
that's
at the
your
time
moment.
it did.
Yeah.
And so I got in there and just trying to figure it out. And you're feeling the car like a real race car for the first time. I mean, it was only a bandolero, but ended up loving it. Raced that Friday and Saturday, finished third in my first race, and then raced the whole season out. I was kind of traveling back and forth every weekend because I was still in military school. So I'd be pretty worn out when I'd get on a Southwest flight and fly back to military school. And I was only, 13, so I was pretty young. But I learned a lot of, just how to grow up quick and learned how to be very independent at a young age, I'd say, just because I'm, traveling alone. It's not a far flight from Vegas to San Diego, but I would go in there, and then I'd get on a, shuttle bus and shuttle up to the school. And so I learned some independency. I don't even know if that's a word.
Yeah.
I said independence
Yeah.
at a really young age. So to go back to your question about do I like it, I think there's a lot of good memories, but I think the best memories were, going back and forth racing and kind of getting my start in racing, in the Bandolero series for that first year. So it was fun. Zane Smith, he also raced. So Zane, Riley, and Zane grew up in Huntington Beach, California, but his dad worked for Terrible Herbst Motorsports, which is the off-road team that the Herbst family, owned and ran, and were very successful racing down in Baja, Mexico, and different off-road races around North America. So Zane's dad,
Big Mike,
Big Mike, shout out Big Mike. Big Mike's
awesome.
hilarious.
He's the best.
So after that first year, Riley and Zane were always tight. Like, Zane was Riley's best man, or Riley was Zane's best man in Zane's wedding. So they'd known each other for a long time, and kind of all three got together and started racing for Dustin Ash out in Las Vegas. He ran our Legend Car program, and Dustin was a huge part of my career. So I started racing for a guy, Jim O'Hanley. We'd rent a car from him in Bandoleros, and then that was 2012, 2013, and 2014. Moved up into Legend Cars and ran with Dustin Ash, and he kind of, with Zane, Riley, and I, we would go out to the bull ring and stuff, and it was super cool, but it was also a lot of fun. Like, we'd drive an RC car after practice and throw football. And
who was the best out of the three of y'all?
Zane was. Yeah, Zane's probably been racing
longer.
Zane and Riley have been racing a long time, but then Riley kind of took a little break there. And then when I started racing back in Bandoleros, Riley actually came out and raced some Bandolero races, and then we started racing Legend Cars together. So,
That's
I mean,
cool.
hung out every day. We still hang out
Yeah.
pretty much every day. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool that now we're racing in the Cup Series together. Zane and I are teammates, and we all spend time together. It's been cool to see we were together. Then we kind of split ways after Legend Cars.
Yeah.
Started racing in the K&N Series for Jefferson Pitts Racing, Jeff Jefferson, Jerry Pitts.
Yeah.
In the K&N West Series and E Series, Riley started racing late models at Irwindale, and then raced for McAnally in the K&N Series on the West.
Yeah.
And then Zane kind of went a different route. He kind of moved out here to North Carolina, started racing late models out here.
Yeah, Supers
and with
and
Gary
all that.
Crooks. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's been kind of a split in our direction. But then once we've all gotten back to the Cup Series, it's cool to see, just everyone's progression and guys winning races. Zane won a championship in the Truck Series.
Yeah.
Riley's win, I remember watching him at Vegas, just dominating.
That was big. Yeah.
Going to Indy last year was probably, in my opinion, his biggest win, holding off Eric Almirola, a guy who has done it for a long time, really good at his craft, and knows how to really work the air and stuff.
Yeah. No doubt.
He did a great job and pulled through. So I was really impressed. So it's cool to see those guys and their experience. We also had another guy, Mikey, our good buddy Mikey. He
Womack.
Womack. So we just did a charity go-kart race, and
Was
Zane,
Mikey out there?
Mikey came and joined
That's
us.
awesome.
So they're like, "Hey, it's you three, you Custer and
Yeah.
Zane.
We need someone else.
If you guys want, you have 3 more spots." And I'm like, "Dude, call Womack.
Yeah,
Get Womack
that's
out
awesome.
here." So there's kind of a group of 4 of us that all grew up together.
Yeah.
And so Mikey was a unbelievable legend car racer and road course racer.
Yeah.
I just never got the shot, but he lives out here now. We all kind of stuck together, so it's been cool.
No, it's good to have a support group and a circle. We talk about that a lot, like just having a tight knit group of buddies, especially because the sports, it's big, but it gets pretty small at times too. And just having that support group's super important. And like for me, as you're talking about growing up in Vegas, which some of the stories I've heard, the timeline gets kind of blurry just because we've worked together for so long now and been in each other's lives for such a long time and gone through so much fun, so many wins, so many ups, downs, right? Like any good relationship, in my opinion. But for me, I remember you coming onto the scene. I didn't realize how. I know that I've always known when you started racing, but I guess just looking back on it, maybe it's because so many years have gone by. It's crazy how quick you got to the K&N series. Like for me, I was racing, started out when I was 7, 8 years old in Bandolero. So you're pretty far behind, really. And I was kind of late to start, but I had raced so much. I had run late models for many years and run Bandoleros for a long time. Obviously before that, run legacy cars, had tested some Xfinity cars back when you could, some Cup cars. And then, in 2015, when we first met and started competing against each other, that was the first time, obviously, I had been around you. I remember being at Irwindale, and we just got done qualifying. You were driving for Jefferson Pitts, and that neon, I'd call it like a day glow or neon yellow scheme, and
Bright as you could get it.
Yeah,
That's my
that thing
favorite color.
would stand out. And I remember David Mayhew and I standing there talking to one another after qualifying. I was pretty frustrated because we just didn't qualify good. We just weren't good at all that whole weekend, which kind of caught me off guard because in 14 we were pretty strong. But point being, I remember you come running up and you were like showing me and David something, and then you like took off, and David and I were quite a bit older, still are obviously. And I was like, David, who was that? He's like, that's Noah Gragson. And I was like, who is Noah Gragson? And I say that just, we hadn't met, right? Like, and we're at polar opposite kind of ends. Like I was like winding down on my time in the K&N series for various reasons. And, but that was at the start of the year. And then next thing I know, we go to Tucson,
was
and
the third one.
Yeah.
Went Kern.
Yeah, and you guys wore us
Riverdale,
out.
Tucson.
Like, and you had no
I didn't know what I was
experience at
doing.
all. So like, how did you get linked up with Jerry Pitts and Jeff Jefferson? Like, how did that start? Because Greg Pursley was driving for Gene Price and that equipment before, and then Jeff and Jerry came in, bought it. How did that opportunity come about for you? Because it happened quick.
Yeah, it was super quick. So Dustin Ash. So this would have been 2014, kind of the end of the year. We had bought a late model for like $8,500, and I mean this thing was nice, but you see cars out on the East Coast, and you're like, oh no, that thing was box,
Yeah,
but it
totally
was
different.
good. Like I had wrecked it. I mean, it was my first late model, and so I ran like 3 races in that in Vegas, and I think we sat on the pole in like my second race. And it was kind of tough because at the bull ring, they weren't getting that many like late models. They only had maybe 8 or 10 cars out there.
Yeah.
There's a guy, Scott Gaffarini, who was really good. A couple other guys who were really good, but there just wasn't too much depth to the field. And so I was like, okay, like what's going to be the best opportunity? They had the Spears Southwest Tour, the SRL series that was going on, which is super late model tour on the West Coast. And there was also the K&N series. And so Dustin was like, hey, I think you need to go talk to these 2 guys, Jeff Jefferson and Jerry Pitts. And he's like, they're 2 crew chiefs. There's a team owner, Gene Price. They had won a bunch of championships. Gene is kind of wanting to get out of racing.
Yeah.
And the 2 crew chiefs want to buy the team. So met him at an Outback Steakhouse, and I was really young. I was probably 15 at the time. And they're like, hey, we got this one kid, Grayson Raz, signed up. I'm like, oh, that's Grayson and Gregson. Or my last name, his first name.
Yeah.
That might get a little,
a little tricky.
Yeah. But we got him signed up. To be able to buy the equipment, we need to, get somebody else signed up to run, the schedule. So they're down in Parker, Arizona. We ended up committing to the deal, they moved all the equipment up to Washington, up in Yakima, Washington, Natchez area. Beautiful area.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've been up there and stayed with Jeff, but
it's awesome.
I mean, there's a river and then a mountain.
Yeah.
And the race shop is kind of right in
it's
between.
It's like Yellowstone.
It's like the most beautiful place for a race shop. So, I didn't know much. I maybe had 3 or 4 stock car races under my belt before starting at Kern County. I remember going down to Tucson in 2015 and racing with Jerry Pitts. He came down to crew chief it, and Dustin used to work at Gene Price Motorsports too, so he kind of knew them. So it was a good relationship and whatnot. So we hit it off right off the bat. Jerry was probably 50 at the time, so he was wise. He's worked out here. He used to work for Everham and has worked in the Cup Series. So
I think he worked for Yates for a little while. Robert Yates.
So it's super cool to be able to have kind of the young guy, the wild and reckless young guy, and then kind of the old, quieter guy. So we kind of got the best out of both of us.
Good balance.
It was a really good balance. But I remember going to Tucson for the Chili Willy. That was kind of a January, February race before anything started in 2015. And I met Grayson there for the first time. I was like, hey, what's up, man? I'm Noah. And I wish we had Grayson here to be able to tell the rest of the story, because I forget what he was thinking, but he was like, bro, who the fuck is this kid? Like, this is my teammate? Like, this kid's wild. Like, I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah, Grayson's a little more reserved.
Grayson's pretty shy and reserved, and he admit that. But our friendship is, like, from that day on, like, we've been super tight, and it's been cool. His little brother, Cole, used to do tires for Grayson and help out on the K&N cars. Now he's racing. He's super good. Yeah. He ran really good down at the Snowball Derby. He drove up into the top 3 there at the late stage of the race. So he's an unbelievable late model racer, unbelievable driver in general, and he fabricates all his own stuff.
Yeah, pretty plugged in.
Cole's really good, and so we went to Kern County for the first race, and I finished third. There's an interview of me out there right after the race with Heather DeBow.
Yeah,
and
you didn't know what to do, right?
I thought I nailed it.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was easy.
dude, I nailed that.
Yeah,
and turns out it was not good at all, and I was like staring directly in the camera, eyes wide open, acne all over my face, looked like a deer in headlights.
Yeah,
but at the time I didn't know, and then I went to like media training right after that, and I got with a guy, Dan Lear, and just how to answer questions, and you don't know what you don't know. So lucky that was early on in my career.
Yeah, get it out of the way.
Still gives shit for that, even my crew chief Drew.
Oh yeah, he probably shows you a screen grab.
All the time. So,
that's awesome.
But then, I finished third in the first race, and it was like, oh, okay, like I've only had 4 stock car races under my belt. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Probably seemed easy, right?
Yeah, I went to Irwindale. I think we finished 7th. We weren't that great there, and then went to Tucson the next weekend, which is a super fun track. It's worn out, and it's super abrasive on the tires. And they kept on preaching save tires all weekend long.
Yeah.
So I went out for qualifying. I just kind of like cruised around, and I qualified 18th out of 21 cars.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn, we're shit. They're like, how hard were you going? I was like, not going hard because you guys said don't go hard.
Yeah.
So, we started 18th and drove up to the lead, 60 laps in. And I was kind of just stayed there within that top 3 the whole time, let some guys burn their stuff up. And
I was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember burning mine up.
Pretty good. Yeah. I just kind of just waited until the end and won the race. And it was super cool because Dustin and Ash was driving. We had 3 cars.
Yeah.
And it was cool. We had one hauler with 3 cars.
Yeah.
It was a semi.
It's like a test
and we
hauler.
knocked the lounge out. You remember that? And they had those fold down metal contraptions, and they could slide a 3rd car up in that where the lounge would be.
Yeah. I forgot
but they
about
could
that.
still keep the benches. It was hot as shit. Thing, though. You remember?
Oh yeah.
Having
It was
to go
brutal.
up there and take them things down.
Oh yeah.
That was the worst. But it was cool because Dustin Ash was in the 3rd car for Jefferson Pitts Racing.
Y'all finished 1, 2, 3.
Our new team. Yeah, we finished 1, 2, 3. I was first. Grayson was second, and Dustin was third.
Pretty sweet.
And it was kind of like my racing hero Dustin, and then my good buddy Grayson and teammate, and then my first win.
Yeah.
And man, like I don't really know what I'm doing, but it just kind of came easy. To me, and so that was really really special to be able to win my first race because I had watched guys like Dylan Kwasniewski. He was a Vegas guy. I watched his YouTube videos, and when you're younger, the next series always feels like, man, if I could just get there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And I was like, man, if I could just. I went into the year, and they're like, do you have any goals? I think Jeff or Jerry or somebody asked me, do you have any goals for this year? I'm like, man, if I could finish in the top 10 a couple times, it'd be like pretty cool. And
because it was hard racing.
Finish top 10 in points. Yeah. You, David Mayhew. There's some really good guys. James Bickford.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah.
There's some really good guys that raced. It's kind of changed a little bit here.
Yeah.
The last probably 5 or 6 years.
For sure.
But that 2015 when we raced that, it was super competitive, super respectful.
Yeah.
Johnny White, the chainsaw.
Oh yeah, he was good.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
You just had a lot of good racers and guys with good racecraft and pretty similar equipment too.
Yeah.
Where it made it fun, you know. And I really enjoyed that. We had a great team. Denny Moyer, Mike, Chop Chop, all those guys, they were a lot of fun. There's so many guys that were on Jefferson Pitts Racing. But that was cool about the K&N West Series is you had a lot of guys where racing wasn't their identity. Mm-hmm. It was almost a hobby for them racing in the K&N West Series.
Yeah.
And they get done with the race and crack open a beer and everybody would kind of hang out behind the haulers.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's way different about once you get up to the national levels of
people are out
NASCAR.
of there.
You load that thing up and you go home as fast as you can.
Yeah, for
Where
sure.
It was more like a family atmosphere within the pits on the K&N West Series back in the day, I felt like. So made a lot of great relationships. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, obviously, racing with you.
Yeah.
I didn't know you until we talked. I was down at the beach, and you had called me. I wrecked the shit out of you at Sonoma.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say is like, I would always, even though I really didn't know you or know Grayson, I had heard of Dustin Ash, like when he had run the Tucson race from his cousin, I think Brandon Ash raced some out this way. Are they related at all?
I don't think
maybe
so.
not. Well,
No.
hell, I should probably text him and tell him I thought that was his cousin the whole time. But
No, I don't think so.
But either way, like I'd known of Dustin from his days driving, and you know, for me, I just would always kind of keep an eye on how y'all were doing because, you know, Jefferson was my crew chief in 2014 for the second half of the year because we made a crew chief change about midway through on McAnally's team. And then, you know, Jerry, we were competing against Jerry because he was crew chief for Greg Pursley in 2014, and they ended up winning the championship, I'm pretty sure. And so I was always kind of interested in just how the program was going because I cared about those guys a lot and cared about Jeff a lot. Jeff and I traveled together the whole second half of the year in 2014 and got to know him really well. And he became one of my best friends because for me, you know, I was flying from out east, which out here is my home, and I was pretty much alone going back and forth, right? And so Jeff and I become really good buddies and would spend a lot of time together. But yeah, point being, when you know we went to Sonoma, both of us were in the points. I think at the time I was a little bit behind because we had some issues at the start of the year, but I'll never forget that when Justin Haley had spun me out at the top of the hill on the green, white, checkered. And I'll just never forget. I'm just trying to gather the car up. And I'm like, okay, like we go down to 4, we go over to 7, you know, popping the curb. And I think you and Austin Dillon were like either hitting doors or y'all were racing around each other. We're all right there together, like 6th, 7th, 8th. And I'm like, okay, I just need to get back to the start finish line and take my lumps. And speaking of that green car that stood out, we went down to 11, and I'm like looking at my mirror, and I could see you back there, and I'm like, okay, like we're 7th, 8th, and I saw you kind of fade to the right, and I'm like,
I was committed.
I'll just cover it up.
When I was committed, I'm like,
oh my
I'm
God.
going here, and I am passing him.
Oh yeah,
Whoever this is,
yeah.
I have a good run off 10.
Yeah,
and then you moved over. I'm like,
oh, I was done.
I was very committed.
You picked me up, and I know I've told you this story a couple times, but like, you never really like to me get. I would never. I don't drive anymore, but I would never really get scared in a car. But as soon
when
as
you don't know where you are,
yeah, you spun me around, and all I could think about was like, I don't know where the edge of the pit road wall is, and I was like
this,
I'm gonna
left
hit,
side door.
yeah, I'm gonna hit the end of it, and I was like, I just like tensed up, and I ended up going into pit road into that lane and hit the wall pretty good. And I get down to the infield care center, and Kevin, our PR guy with Napa and with McAnally at the time, I remember him coming in there, and they cleared me pretty quickly because I was fine. I didn't hit like really hard, but I was really worked up, right? And because there's only 14, 15 races, so if you fall out of one, maybe 2, you're out of the points.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're done, right? And I got out of there, and I was like, where is that MFer? And I remember I got out of there, and I was like, where's he at? And Kevin was like, who? And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I'm like, where's he at? And he's like, which one? Because Justin Haley had wrecked me at the top of 3A, and then you had, you know, spun me around 11. And I'm like, he's like, I know Justin Haley's out on pit road doing an interview because he had finished like 2nd or 3rd. And
I think Dalton Sargent was 2nd.
Yeah, he
Justin
must have been
might have
3rd.
been
3rd. And then y'all were back at the hauler, I guess. So I go down to pit road, and we're walking down there, and Kevin's like, man, don't do anything. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna like whoop this kid's ass. And he's like, man, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, why not? What's the problem? And he's like, he's only like 15 years old. And I'm like, dude, what? And I stop. I see TJ Pusher.
Yeah.
Because TJ was helping out Todd Braun and Justin Haley and Nate and those guys. And TJ and I had worked together for a long time. And so he comes up to me. We kind of get into it. Then he calms me down, gives me some perspective, which I needed. I get back over to the hauler, and I'm looking for you, but we're trying to load up our car. And I'll never forget, I told Jefferson, he come up to the hauler, and it might not be word for word, but I was like, does he have frequent flyer miles? And Jeff's like, what? I'm like, does that kid have frequent flyer miles? And he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm like, he better, because he's going to be fixing y'all's crap every single week from here on out. And Jeff's a big dude, right? Like, you know him well. He's built like freaking looks like lumberjack. He's a big old dude. And he goes, all right, that's about enough. And he's like, basically, you need to shut up. And I'm like, ooh, I pressed the wrong button. Stuff happens, right? But like, we didn't know each other. I knew Jeff. Like, so I was torqued up. I felt like our season was kind of over. And then not to speed ahead, but like then we go to State Line, Idaho, and you and I are racing against each other. You know, we have the sway bar arm comes off the thing, and it's hitting up underneath the left front, and you get to me and kind of move me up out of the way, and I'm like, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna this is my moment, because this is that little quarter mile, right?
That place is kind of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and I remember just seeing your back bumper, and I'm like, I know I didn't make it as a driver, but I'm like, I know I'm good enough to wreck him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to go up and just send him off the track. There was no outside wall in the turns, and just get you back. And I spent, I don't know, probably 5-6 laps trying to wreck you, and I couldn't. And like in that moment, and I've shared this with you before, but I was like, man, this kid like has some really, like, even while I was driving, I was thinking like, he's got really, really good car control. Like I apparently I wasn't that good. I couldn't even wreck you, right?
It's hard to wreck somebody.
It's hard to wreck someone, but those cars, like, it was a little easier than like a cup car or something like that. And, but that conversation we had, I feel like that's really where our relationship started, was, you know, after that, just talking about not trying to be like someone I wasn't, or try to be like some wily veteran or something like that. That phone call wasn't about that. But when you and I spoke, and we just talked about, you know, just big picture racing, and me also putting my shovel down and not trying to do that to you and your team, because that wasn't fair to you and Jerry and Jeff and Jason and all those guys. I felt like that's really where our respect for each other grew.
Yeah, our relationship kind of started there, because we really didn't until, and then we kind of, you called me, and you're like, all right, we're done. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, like, I don't.
Yeah, you're like, I don't even know.
I'm just racing. Yeah, and then, yeah, that's really where the relationship kind of started.
For sure.
And then we talked a little bit throughout the rest of the year, but before that, it was just like what's up, man? Like just cruising by.
Well, and I remember going to, like, later on that year in 2015, I knew about midway through the year after we won Iowa, the combo races, I knew that my time was going to be a little limited, because Bill was able to attract some other drivers. Toyota, you know, was pushing with Todd Gillen, and they should have been. He did a nice job and won a bunch of races. And so I knew I was on my way out, but we went to Meridian later in the year, and I was running second to you the entire race.
I know. I thought you were going to get me.
And I thought about it, and I'm like, I have an opportunity to. There it would have been easier to move you, and I'm like, man, you guys dominated. You guys kicked our tail the entire night, and I'm like, I'm not gonna chicken shit this guy out of this win. Like, it's not worth it. Like, you paddled us the whole night. You guys had a better car. But I do remember after the race was over, y'all are over there celebrating, and I come up and congratulated you. I remember my crew chief, Ty Joyner, he's a competitor, right? He should be frustrated that we didn't win. And he's like, man, why didn't you move him? I'm like, dude, I just couldn't do it, right? Like, we had messed around doing all that earlier in the year, and then we had our conversation, and y'all deserved to win the race, and we didn't. Y'all were better than us. And But those years were a lot of fun, man. And like not to jump ahead too much, but I think, the coolest part was, and we'll get back into like your climb through, up the ladder to the Cup Series. But the coolest part, for me was as we went through that kind of starting out pretty rough in our relationship and then getting to know one another and competing and racing clean. And it's wild how that can come full circle because, at the end of 15, when I lost my ride, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't have a job lined up. I'd worked for Jeff Burton in the past and worked with Harrison some building their super late models. I had built seats for LaJoy, working for Randy and Lisa and all them over there. But I had no plan. And I remember I had a conversation with your dad down at the Snowball Derby during that off season. You were running the Derby for maybe Jamie Elton.
Yeah.
And we were crossing the start finish line before the race started, and your dad.
You had been up probably a long time. That's when Harrison wrecked.
I think so.
And you had to rebuild that.
Yeah, we worked. Yeah, because I went down there to help
like
them.
Johanna's shop or something.
Yeah, I'd just gone down there to help them that one night, but just that full circle moment of your dad saying something to me like, "Hey, if you don't have anything lined up, like give us a call," and having the relationship with Jeff, having the relationship with Jerry, us getting to know each other throughout 2015, and then y'all having me come and spot for you going into 16 was super helpful. And I wouldn't be sitting right here right now with you talking about it if that hadn't happened. And that was a hard transition for me because I thought I was.
How old were you?
I was probably
24,
probably 23, 24. Right in there,
crazy.
And but you feel like your life's kind of over, right? You're not driving anymore, and it's like this sucks, and I don't know what to do. But y'all gave me a great opportunity, and I'll forever be thankful and indebted to you and your family for doing that because it helped give me a new platform and kind of a new career path going forward. But talking about 2016, 2017. Obviously racing all across the country, going back and forth from the east and west.
We're the first ones to ever do both east and west schedule at the same year, which it's not what it is now.
Yeah.
Now it's nothing, but like back then it was somewhat of a big deal. I thought,
for sure.
Yeah. And we were in Washington where the shop was, so the hauler would be on the East Coast, and it was just really, really hard logistically. I'm actually surprised we even did that.
Yeah.
Now looking at it, because it was just
brutal.
tough. It was tough on everyone.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool. You know, at the same time.
Did Todd Gillen? So Todd took over the 16 car. Did he end up running?
Todd ran some East races, but he didn't run the full season.
Okay. He did that in 17. I think he ended up running both, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
But 16, you were the only one that ran.
That was
East
the first
West.
one to ever do it.
Yeah, it was fun. Like I remember, we left. You won New Jersey.
No, we won. So it was September 10th and 11th of 2016. We won both races at Utah Motorsports Campus,
Salt Lake,
and then so that was Saturday and Sunday, and then the next Saturday we raced in New Jersey.
That's
and
right.
we won that one. So we won like 3 K&N races in the span of 8 days, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. You had I know you mentioned them earlier, but we had I was working for you and spotting all those races and driver coaching. I mean, I felt like obviously you had competed against us the year before and outrun us. So you knew how to get around the tracks. It was more of just coming up with a plan, staying focused.
Yeah, having a process. Like I just go to high school and hang out with my buddies and
show up and race,
do whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, where are we getting dinner tonight? Let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings or something.
Yeah.
And play Xbox.
Yeah.
And then I go to the racetrack on the weekend.
Yeah. You had a good group.
That was my process.
Yeah, and that whole entire team was incredible.
Yeah, they were good.
One thing I do remember.
Shout out Denny Moyer. Shout out Miss Moyer's salsa. Best salsa and those chips,
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's awesome. But no, it was a lot of fun working with that entire team.
They're good times, man.
Yeah,
I wish I was older. I wish I was older where I could go hang out with everyone.
Oh yeah, yeah. We had some late nights. That's
Like,
for sure. Me and the rest of the team. You were way too
I
way
know.
too young.
I just sit in the hotel and
Yeah,
play doodle jump or whatever.
yeah.
You know, like
We had a lot
Angry
of fun.
Birds.
Yeah, that was cool. I looking ahead, like, so we get done with 16. You won a fair amount of races. Won Stafford, won Salt Lake twice, won New Jersey, and that's really where I remember me and you and your dad and your mom started having conversations about the future and like what's the next step, because the North Carolina motorsports world was the moon to y'all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like why would y'all know anything about it? And I didn't have much to do with it, but what was it like when you found out you were going to be going racing for Kyle Busch full time in the truck series? Like who told you? Like, was it your dad? Was it, I know at one point Brent Brush was helping on some of the deals and stuff like that.
Well, going back to like kind of when we were talking to Kyle, we met with Kyle a couple times, and then I think we were all just there and came to agreement on what everything was going to look like for 2017 and 2018. But I remember standing in 2016 on pit road at Dover, and Harvick and Keselowski rolled off pit road out of the Cup garage, and that's when they had like a couple hours of practice and just got it was Cup practice, and then I went K&N practice. That was my first time there, and I was pretty naive on what the actual process was like. Those guys get a lot of simulator time, and they've been to these tracks a lot, but being my first time there, pretty intimidated. Coming off a lot of wins, so I was like, man, like I feel good, like I could do this.
Yeah.
And then Brad Keselowski was the first car on the racetrack. It had just rained. They've been blowing the track off for a while. The apron's still wet. He cruises through 1 and 2, gets up to speed down the back straightaway. I'm standing down the front straightaway on pit road, kind of into turn 1, and he comes wide open, lands off in the corner, hauling ass, first lap. I'm like, holy shit, there's no warming up tires, nothing. Because in late models and K&N, guys would roll around there for 3 or 4 laps.
Cruise around on the bottom.
These guys are getting from the time they roll off out of the garage.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, man, I don't know if I could actually do this.
Yeah,
like, that's pretty crazy. Now, like, you go there and you're like, yeah, no problem, right?
Sure.
But, like, when you've never seen something like that, it's crazy. Like, we go to late model races and stuff and won't even see the place, and you're up to speed the first lap, you know?
Yeah.
But at the time, I just didn't know. But, yeah, that was pretty eye-opening for me, seeing what it would take to be at the top level.
And y'all were already talking to Kyle and them
at
that point?
I think we were already close to having the deal done or whatnot. But I was like, okay. Then you come out here, you start doing sim, and you're at the shop, but still trying to figure out your process. We had won Martinsville in 2017 with Marcus Richmond and that group, and then they switched teams for 2018.
Well, and in 2017, not to
we were fast, like we had 3 poles.
Well, yeah, but you and Todd are teammates. Y'all raced against each other in 2016.
We were teammates in 2018.
Yeah. So that's when the Canada, that was one I want to talk about, because I remember spotting for you in that last turn. And so they swapped teams. They put you with Rudy going into 2018. They put Marcus Richmond with Todd. And walk me through what was going. I've never even asked you this. Like, what was going through your mind? You're running second to Todd at Canada, coming to the checkered. Like, we've all seen the highlight videos and other people wrecking in that last turn. But like, what was? I should have asked you. Hell, I was spotting for you. Like, what was going through your mind? Like, I'm gonna get them, or like just see what happens, or was it all just kind of instinct? And
so finished second there in 2017. Go back in 2018. Pretty fast in practice. It rains during qualifying. We're all on rain tires. The track starts drying out. There's like kind of a dry lane, but our tires, we all had rain tires on. And so the track kept getting faster, but our grip started going away because the rain tire rubber started getting hot. It's a real soft compound.
Right.
And qualified second, I think, to Ben Rhodes. Led a lot of the race. I think we won both stages.
Yeah.
But all those other guys would flip-flop and pit 2 laps before the end of the stage. And, we'd start in the back of the next stage. So I was, like, by far the fastest guy there. Drove from, probably 20th at the start of stage 3. Was running Todd down. And that's a really hard place to lead, I think, just because it's super edgy. Like, that's why you always see the second place guy get there, is because, especially when you go down the backstretch and you go through that sweeping right-hander, it's pretty treacherous and you're really on the edge, so it's hard to lead.
Yeah.
You're just trying not to mess it up, and I think that's why you see the second place guy
Kinda
get there.
slows you down.
Yeah, you're just like, you're running 95% instead of 110%. Like the guy in second place, he's got nothing to lose, right? And I have been I probably made 3 passes into that last corner where I would, kind of come off. It's a left-hander, then a right-hander onto the front straightaway. I kind of squirt throttle wide and get side by side with the guy into the right-hander, and then be able to beat him by the start-finish line.
Yeah.
And so I already had like 2 or 3 reps of that during the race. Obviously, it's in the middle of the race, so they're more prone to giving it to you.
Sure. Yeah.
Or at least racing side by side. But I don't know if Todd didn't expect me to get there, but I definitely had made that move 3 times throughout the race where it was like, okay, I know this can work. And so I squirt throttle, try to get to the inside of Todd, and I popped the curb, and it kind of jacks me up into his door, and we both spun out.
Yeah. I remember standing there, seeing you come by. I'm like, holy
but
cow.
I was committed. I'm like,
yeah.
And that might be one of my faults, but I'm like, I'm either winning this race or, like,
yeah.
And Todd and I had made up. Like,
yeah, your teammates.
I hate that it took both of us out. And
yeah, you're there to win.
Yeah, but like, we won stage 1, stage 2, and I had made that move 3 times already that day. It's unfortunate it didn't work out, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do?
I remember
you
getting
live
on
and you learn.
The airplane that evening, and you and I were sitting. I don't know, like.
Oh, the whole plane fucking hated me.
It was dead.
Everybody on that plane hated me.
Yeah.
No matter if they were on our team, Todd's team, PR, whatever.
Yeah.
They hated me.
I remember just sitting there like, man, we got to get off the plane in Buffalo to go through customs. And I was like, I think we're going to walk in, and then we're going to have to turn around and walk past the whole team walking back to the plane. And that was,
awkward.
It was super awkward. It was like, oh my
time
God,
heals
this
all
sucks.
wounds.
Yeah, things go by, and time definitely heals all that stuff. I mean, y'all are great teammates now, but it was an exciting finish. I remember standing there, and I was super pumped for you because you, to your point, you had run really well, and I thought it was a productive day. Just things like that are going to happen when you're racing to win. Working with Rudy, like I remember obviously because I was going to all the races with you, 16, 17, 18. But, obviously different crew chiefs, different styles. What was like the biggest difference between working with Marcus and working with Rudy? Because I know you won with both of them and you got along great with both of them, but what was the biggest difference in working with those 2 guys at KBM?
I think they both had like different styles, but they were both good in their own ways, you know. And I kind of was grateful to be able to work with different crew chiefs throughout my career because I've been able to take different parts of their strengths and try to apply it to myself and my driving and learn from each and every one of them. So, we sat on 3 poles and also won Martinsville with Marcus. He's really good at Martinsville, so I think getting a feel for, like, the first time we went there, we finished 4th. We got spun out by Briscoe in the middle of the race. So my rookie year in trucks, Chase wrecked us like a lap into the Daytona race, the first race of the year.
Man, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then we went to Atlanta the next weekend. I think I spun out on lap 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have like 4 or 5 weeks off. And then we go to Martinsville. And then Chase Briscoe wrecks us into turn 1 there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now he's like one of my best buddies. But
Right.
And we laugh about it all the time now. He's like, remember when I wrecked your ass lap 1 at Daytona?
Oh, yeah.
And but so that was like kind of the hard part is I was still living in Vegas, and until I graduated high school, I was still in high school. And then you're there for 4 or 5 weeks just laying in bed thinking to yourself, man, like, I just need another shot at doing this. Like, I just need to get back out there. And that's the hard part about the truck schedule is you do have these long breaks.
For sure.
Yeah, that's, I guess, one good thing about, probably the only good thing about the Cup schedule is you have you're racing next weekend, and if you have a bad race, you could reset.
Yeah.
So it's a grueling schedule in Cup, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
But
It's brutal.
yeah, I mean, Rudy and that team, they built really, really fast trucks.
Yeah.
With 6 poles. Had opportunities to win a lot of races. Just
Won Kansas.
yeah, we won. Sat on the pole first and second stage and won the race.
Yeah.
That was a perfect day.
Yeah.
Kyle was in that race too, so that was pretty cool. And it had just a lot of speed. Just had Gateway 1, and then we had a caution with like 7 or 8 laps to go. I had a flat right rear tire, finished 11th. Was running second at Charlotte. Had a shot to win there. Spun the tires on the restart, on the green white checker restart. Just had a lot of Dover. Was trying to hold off Johnny Sauter, and went to side draft him, and I touched his left rear, and it kind of ripped the steering wheels out of my hands, and then wrecked there.
Big, yeah, that was a big one.
A lot of moments like that where we were in contention a lot, just never got it done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I learned, I felt like, a lot, and then ran 3 races for Gibbs in 2018.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool, going to Richmond, my first Xfinity race.
Yeah.
Once again, kind of like getting in that Bandolera. I didn't know what to expect, like kind of nervous, just not sure the feel.
We put a lot of – I remember that was one of the deals we put a lot of thought into, because Richmond, Talladega, and Dover were the Dash for Cash races where the Cup drivers couldn't run. And it was like, I remember we sat down even with Rudy, had a lot of discussions with him about how can we maximize this opportunity. And Gibbs was nice enough to let us put something together with Switch, and you went and ran those, and man, that was awesome. Just sitting up in the grandstands after putting that together, that was one of my favorite memories of watching you race for the first time in those cars, and going out there and hauling the mail and running really well and almost beating Christopher Bell. I thought that was incredible.
But I had torn up a lot of stuff in trucks. It was my first race in Xfinity, and run second to him, and found a lot of grip with my right sides on the first painted hash. I talked to Logano before going to that race, and like, man, give me some tips around here. And he's like, just pay attention to your right side tires on the painted dotted line, the first set of painted hash marks.
Yeah.
So I started ripping my right sides on that and kind of just tried to save it. I knew my spotter in trucks was Tony Hirschman, and Tony was spotting for Christopher Bell, and I knew the information that Tony was giving to Christopher just based off what he's given me on where other guys run and stuff. And so I wanted to kind of save running on that hash mark and tearing up a lot of stuff in trucks. I got to his back bumper with 12 laps to go through 1 and 2, and I didn't know where the fenders or the hood was on this thing, the nose was.
Yeah,
and I went to like roll up to his back bumper, and I thought I had like another foot left, and I hit him. And I'm like, oh, I don't even know where the nose is on this thing. Like, I'm going to try and get around him, but I can't even like move him around or anything, because I don't even know where the nose is on this thing. And so ended up running second to him there, but
It's a big deal. Yeah.
Looking back at it, if I would have known what I would have known now, like
Sure.
I for sure could have beat him.
Yeah.
But it's finished second, and then coach called me after that. Joe called me after that and was like, "Hey, let's have a meeting when you get back here." So went to his office, and he's like, "Man, I want you to drive this thing some more," and it never really worked out.
Right.
But I think that race, my first race, finishing second, that was really cool just because I would say that was probably the biggest race.
Oh, dude, it's huge.
Because
Yeah.
it kind of put me on the map, and then
Yeah.
had an opportunity.
That's not normal.
Yeah.
Right? No, people
So-
normally don't go do that. That's a
we
really
finished
big deal.
4th at Talladega the next week, and
Yeah.
then finished 7th at Dover after 2 pit road penalties.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, like I think, we're pretty. It was pretty fun, And
Yeah.
then got the opportunity to race for Junior Motorsports, and that was the best, man. Racing at JRM,
Yeah.
I was loving life. I had a great team around me, great people from the top down. Joe Mattis and Kelly and Dale, just they are what made it fun
Yeah.
and enjoyable, and the people and the structure and the atmosphere and the family that was there. It was super cool to be able to race over there. So, getting into Xfinity, it was, kind of tough. And in 2019, we finished all the races but one. We went 30 races, and then we went to Texas, and I split Harrison and Jeb Burton down the front stretch, and through the travel, and ended up getting into a wreck, and end of the year with only one DNF, which was pretty good. A lot of top tens.
That was with Dave Ellens.
Dave Ellens, yeah. And then went out the next year in 2020. Bass Pro Shops is on board. It was originally a 3-race deal.
Mm-hmm.
It was like there, Vegas, and somewhere else, maybe Charlotte.
Yeah.
And ended up winning that race. Met Johnny on pit road right before the race. Met Matt and Evan from Black Rifle Coffee. Rusty Sellers was on board with True Timber.
Yeah.
The car looked sick. It was
Yeah.
the iconic Bass Pro car that we ran at JRM.
Yeah.
Won that race, my first ever Xfinity win. My family was there. It was just an awesome night.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks later, COVID hit
Yeah.
at Atlanta, and 4 weeks later. And so that was kind of tough because I wanted to grow that relationship and go and visit Johnny and Rusty and Matt and Evan and just learn more about Bass Pro Shops and whatnot, and further our relationship. And everything got kind of put on hold.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of the perfect storm to win with them in the first race, Daytona, first Xfinity win.
Doesn't get much bigger.
Really special.
Yeah.
And then I actually got in that fight with Harrison Burton at Kentucky.
Yeah, that's right.
He came up and pushed me. I got into him on the track on a late race green white checker restart. And I remember right after that, I had been in a scuffle like 3 weeks earlier at Pocono. Nobody really knows about it inside the pits. And Wayne Otten came up to me the week before in Indy, the week before Kentucky. He's like, "Hey man, don't be doing anything inside the track. Wait till you get outside the track or whatnot. Do what you need to do,
Yeah,
but
that's great advice.
don't be getting into fights in the pits."
Yeah.
That was at Indy on pit road. We go to Kentucky the next weekend. Then Harrison came up and started talking, pushed me, and got him a little bit. And so right after that, I got up and I just walked straight to the NASCAR hauler. Nobody even said anything to me, but I was like, man, Wayne just told me like last week, don't get in any fights, and then this happens. And then so I wait for him there for 10, 15 minutes. And he doesn't end up coming, so I'm like, I'll go back to the hauler and change. It's right when I'm walking in between the haulers to get to the side door, Wayne's coming out of my hauler. I'm like, oh, shit, he's been waiting here for me at my hauler. I'm waiting for him at his hauler.
Yeah.
Wayne's the series director for Xfinity.
Yeah.
Great guy. I love Wayne.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, Wayne, I'm so sorry. Like, that happened. started pushing me, and I know you told me no fighting in the pits. He's like, nah, buddy, that's fine. I'm just mad that the pit crew got involved and the crew guys got involved. That can't be happening. I'm like, oh, that's not the
big but I guys
thought,
coming in.
Right after I changed, I'm walking out of the pits, and Johnny Marsh called, and he's like, hey, I want to get on for the rest of the season. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And Johnny's a great guy. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's done a lot for your career and a lot of drivers, right? Like,
yeah, a ton.
Golly, Martin Truex, Tony, McMurray, Dale Jr.,
Ryan Newman. There's a lot of guys.
List goes on. He's what's one of your favorite memories of? I know you talked about Daytona and getting to meet Johnny on pit road, and then going to Victory Lane. But what's one of your favorite memories? I know obviously that relationship means a lot to you. What's one of your favorite memories with Johnny, just in general?
Probably when he texts me or he'll call me or FaceTime me.
Yeah.
And he'll be with his grandkids, and he likes taking his grandkids and getting them all sugared up and giving them Mountain Dew and ice cream and stuff. So his one of his grandsons went to school with a pink Bass Pro Shop hat.
Yeah.
And Johnny's like, why are you wearing a pink Bass Pro cap? He's like, Grandpa, this is called drip. And so
that's awesome.
I'm like, oh, dude, that's sick. I'm going to start wearing the pink Bass Pro hat.
Yeah.
And so I started wearing it to the track, and now fans still to this day will come up and say, hey, can you sign my pink Bass Pro hat?
That's awesome.
I'm like, hell yeah, I'll sign your drip. But just the guy he is, I mean, there's been countless times being with him and having dinner and spending time with him. Fishing with him is incredible. He's a wizard.
Yeah.
Just a magician on the water.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's great at everything.
I'm rat nesting a bait caster, and he's catching anything and everything.
Yeah.
And it's pretty impressive to watch. So
yeah.
There's been a lot of times with Johnny, but he's a crazy dude.
Oh yeah, he's fun.
I love him, man. He's a fun time for sure.
He's like one of the best partners you can have because he's all in, right?
Yeah.
Like he's into our countries and to motorsports and to NASCAR racing. Just he's all about it. It's cool to see what a great brand and how it aligns in the sport, and it's cool to just outside looking in and being a part of it, like just seeing that partnership, especially in those days at JRM, man. That was so much fun. And then when he was on the car, just so much, especially as we went into 21, all the years kind of blend together. But man, he did a lot of racing with you, right?
Yeah.
And you guys won a ton of races going into 21. I mean, you won
22,
9?
In 22.
22, won 9?
Yeah, we won 8 races.
Yeah, that was awesome. What would be your, I guess, outside of Daytona, what would be your favorite moment winning at JRM?
Probably have to be that Martinsville win.
Yeah.
You were spotting.
Oh, yeah. Tyler Mullen was spotting. He was sick.
Yeah, he was sick, and he filled in, and we were in a must-win position.
That was cool.
Sam Mayer and Rex Harrison and I at Kansas.
Yep.
And, we had to win. We were in a must-win position. That was the last race before the Final Four in the round of 8.
Yeah.
And, man, I just was, like, determined to another level. And our stuff was really good at Martinsville, too, so it's not like I...
But you got to drive it.
Yeah, and so it's probably long enough now where I could tell this story, but we would put a spring rubber in the left rear of the car.
Yeah.
Through tech.
Dave's crew chief. Yeah, Dave was
crew chief.
Yeah.
Put a spring rubber in the car, and it would hold it up. This is how it explained to me, so I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I understand how it works. So it would hold it up, and then once I'd get on the racetrack, I'd weave to the right super hard and pop it out of the left rear.
Yeah.
And so we must not have put enough lube on this spring rubber, or it wasn't installed right. But, man, I was plowing tight, like, all race. We were fast, but it was really, really tight. And that we end up winning the race, and shout out to Austin Cindric for racing us hard but clean.
Yeah, it was
He
close.
raced me really clean, so that was really cool of him. But I knew I had to like overdrive the last corner, and just because if I underdrove it, he would have probably squared me up and moved me.
Yeah.
So kind of ran that second lane, thought I lost the thing, and then crossed checker flag and ended up winning. And I won there in trucks, and then to win their Xfinity, the trophy's cool. You're on the radio, we're in a must win.
Yeah.
The Final Four.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man. And that season had been kind of tough.
Mm-hmm.
We had won 2 races in a row at Darlington and Richmond, but it was a really bad first half of the season.
Yeah.
Kind of like how 2025 is going. Like, we were just on the wrong side of things and wrecked or just had mechanical issues or whatnot. It just, we couldn't get the results at all. And then to have all that happen, it was cool. I remember the night before, I was laying in bed. I just played this Cole Swindell song on repeat and drove up there the next morning, and we ended up winning. So we get done with tech, and they're like, oh, that spring rubber's still in there. And somebody would have got fired if we didn't win that race, if that thing would have stayed in there and we wouldn't have won.
Right.
But I think they said it was like 41 rounds.
Of almost like wedge.
Yeah,
right?
of wedge. Like, it was like 6% or something of wedge in the car.
Wow.
And I was like, man, dude, this thing is tight. Like,
Yeah.
super tight. That one was cool. Pocono in 2022 was cool, holding off Ty Gibbs.
Yeah.
That was a really special one just because I felt like he was probably the better car. But we battled. Man,
Y'all raced really well.
We raced hard. We raced clean. We had some run-ins before that point, but that was kind of a big step, I think, for the both of us on like, hey, we raced like pros today, and we put on a show. And with 15 laps to go, he got to my back bumper. Like, he's gonna win this race.
Yeah.
Like, I told myself that. I'm like, I'm gonna try and hold him off as long as I can.
Yeah.
But he's got me covered right now.
Yeah.
And I just air blocked him and put him in bad positions. Didn't wreck him, but would get on his door and loosen him up and be able to hold off for another lap. And, one lap turns to 2 into 3, and he'll get to my inside, and we'll be racing down the front straightaway, and I'll side draft him and get back clear of him. Different stuff like that, and that was a really special one as well, just because it was such a battle, man. Like, that was probably the best battle I've ever had.
I remember seeing Dale Jr. in Victory Lane when y'all won that race, and man, he was so pumped up. He was so excited. You would have thought, he was still driving, and he had just gotten out of the car.
It's hard for me.
Yeah, you're busy.
It's awesome to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear more because you're so in the moment, and you're taking pictures and you're getting pulled in a million directions that you don't really get to sit back and just watch.
We stood off on the side, and they had that like old turf ramp over there in Victory Lane. Now they've renovated all that, but he was so excited. He was pumped up, and I think for him, he knows how hard it is to hold people off that are faster than you. He had done it there in a cup car, and man, he was stoked. He hit me in the chest. He's like, man, that was awesome. He's like, he's on it. And that was really cool. Just seeing your success, at JRM, and then seeing just how excited your car owner and Dale was of you, and how proud he was of you in that moment. And then, even back to the Martinsville race, what was cool was, for me, it was awesome. I hated Tyler couldn't spot because that was his role. But it was cool being a part of that. But more importantly, I remember I was standing off to the side because me, I'd come in, tell you good luck, we'd take a picture, and then I'm trying to get out of the way, and because it's about you and the team, it's about you and your guys that you battle with every single week, and I take that really seriously from just knowing and growing up around it. And I stood off to the side, and I saw Dale Jarrett. He was commentating the race.
That guy's cool, man. I like Dale.
He's awesome. He's all time. And he walked up, and you were up on the stage, and I could overhear him because he was having to yell. There's a bunch of fans and stuff down there, and knowing that you had just, gone into transferred into the Final Four, and he shook your hand and he said, "Man, that's what champions are made of."
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget that moment. I was like, "Man, that's incredible." It was so cool being able to share that story, with your family, and your friends, and like that's what it's all about. Guys like that have done so much and won championships at the highest level. It's got to be pretty gratifying hearing that from guys like Dale Jarrett. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I've never won a championship doing this, but I don't hang my head on any of it, just because to me, I'd rather have a group of people to make memories with. That means more to me, and I'll be able to take that with me for the rest of my life, than being labeled as a champion.
Yeah,
It's a label. Being able to have friendships and memories, and truly enjoy the people you work with, that's way more important to me. I obviously wish we could have won the championship in 22,
sure.
but I don't hang my head or have any doubt in myself that we didn't win that championship. I felt like we were a championship caliber team,
Yeah.
and we showed up every weekend. And I don't know how other people feel, but I felt like we were one of the guys. Ty and I were the guys to beat.
Yeah,
That weekend. We were the two guys that they had to come through,
yeah,
and it was going to be a dogfight every single weekend.
yeah. No, it was a really cool season, and man, I those JRM days were incredible, and obviously, kind of shifting gears to the Cup. Going to Petty GMS at the time, like Legacy, go through half the year, things don't work out, but reset over that off season and come back and you're able to land the ride over at SHR in the 10. And how exciting was that, getting to spend some time over the off season with Tony, getting the opportunity to come back into the Cup Series, run for a great race team, getting paired up with Drew. What was that like, getting to meet Drew, having discussions with Tony? What was that whole process like? And just coming back into the Cup Series, it had been just a lot going on all at once. But what was kind of running through your head going into what would that been? I guess 2024.
Yeah. So, like, getting into the Cup Series, we were in those races for Colleague back in 2022.
Yeah.
And the 16 car, and then ran for Beard Motorsports on the super speedways, and then Bowman got hurt in the 48, and filled in for him at Hendrick.
Yeah.
It was cool to finish. We finished top 5 at Daytona, so that was cool. Had some good runs with the 16 car at Colleague, and then getting the opportunity to race for Hendrick was super cool.
Yeah.
And then we were winning all the races in 22 and the Xfinity side, and life was just sick, man.
Yeah.
And got into 2023, and it beat me down. Like, I was not enjoying racing.
Yeah.
I was not having any fun. Just was a constant challenge every single weekend, just get the thing around the track. And just a handful at the end of the day. And the atmosphere wasn't suited for me.
Yeah.
Coming from JRM, that's kind of all I knew, and had a really, really good team at JRM. So, I kind of had to hit that reset button midway through the year. And I was kind of discouraged. I was like, man, I can't do this stuff. Like, I'm not good enough. And going over to Stuart Haas, getting the opportunity, sit down with Tony and Greg Zipadelli. Tony and Greg were awesome over there at Stuart Haas. I really, really appreciate all they did for me, because I was at the lowest point in my career.
Yeah.
And the most discouraged I could have been, and now having a great opportunity to race for Tony and Greg Zipadelli, it was awesome to race for them. So we had a great team, had some good runs, top 5s, top 10 finishes, a lot of speed. Drew Blick, he was my crew chief over there. He was awesome. We connected from the first time we kind of met. He's always kind of been a big brother. He's obviously crew chief and me still to this day. we have a very tight bond. So then we get the announcement. It's been tough, man, in Cup because we get the announcement in about May that we're going to have to start figuring out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And got a great opportunity at Front Row with Bob Jenkins and Jerry Freeze.
Yeah.
And it's cool, kind of how it's all worked out. I know we would hope for some better results this year, but the speed's been there. I feel like I'm almost in a better place overall this year being at Front Row Motorsports because we have a solid group of people.
Yeah.
But
a lot of your guys came with you too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but I'd say about half the team.
Yeah.
So there's some, a little bit of stability there, as much as you probably could have. And
yeah.
But yeah, the Cup Series has been tough. But Front Row Motorsports, everyone there, it's been awesome to be able to work with them. We've had good speed. We've gotten in so many wrecks. It kind of like 2021 in that Xfinity series. Like, dude, we couldn't finish a race for whatever reason. And it's weird because like my rookie year in Xfinity, we finished all of them but one, and it's like, man, like sometimes it's just not your year or not your day, and you just got to keep on moving over to the next one. But it's been good. It's been good to be able to go to the racetrack with the same group of guys. I believe in Drew. I think Drew believes in me, or I know Drew believes in me. It makes it better when you have a group that truly believes in you.
Yeah.
And, I really appreciate that. And I hope Front Row could be my home for a long time because I think we can keep on growing and building. And we got, Todd and Zane, and they bring a lot to the table. I think we can all help each other. And I think we are kind of growing it and becoming just elevating the standards.
Yeah.
Because we got there, it was like, hey, on top 20, let's go.
Right.
And like, now we want to run in the top 10 every weekend.
Yeah, keep raising
and
the
have
bar.
that speed and just trying to keep that confidence. This year has kind of been the biggest challenges of late because you're trying to sell blue skies. You're like, next weekend it's got to get better, and it doesn't. And it's not from a speed standpoint. That's the only way you keep your confidence is if you have speed in your cars. If you don't have any speed, then you're really like, oh, man, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But we do have speed in the car, so that's probably the only thing that's kept me sane, having all these bad results, because that's ultimately what the expectations are, is that piece of paper at the end of the race where you rank up.
Yeah.
And you want to be at the top.
I think for you, just, teams aside, which it obviously is a team sport, but just for you knowing, starting out in Vegas, not knowing much about racing, and getting a quick start, having quick success, right off the bat, late models, K&N, truck, Xfinity, having some really great runs on the Cup side, even kind of jumping around to different teams, just circumstantial, right? It's part of it. What is where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years? I mean, I know that sometimes can be a loaded question, but how do you want your Cup career to be remembered, right? Like, I know it takes every piece of the pie, but is the goal like, man, I'm going to be champion? Is the goal I want to win some races? Is the goal I want to be here for 15, 20 years? What's important to you now? You belong in the Cup Series, right? I think you've shown that plenty enough. What's some of your goals for your career, from this point moving forward?
Definitely want to win some races, but I want to be a guy on the billboards, and when you win races, I feel like capable of being a Cup Series contender for race wins.
Yeah.
It's just, going through those processes and, winning is within reach for sure. Championships, you want to be a championship, and I don't want it to sound cliche, like everyone wants to be a champion. Like, that's obvious, right? But I want to be different than everyone else, and I want to be a guy who truly enjoyed what he got to do and the privilege of racing in the Cup Series. And when you run good, you enjoy it a lot more. And want to win races. I want to run good, and
Yeah.
it's tough when you're kind of at the bottom. Eventually, it's going to turn.
Yeah.
And I don't see why we can't have success like we did in the Xfinity series on Sunday. So
Yeah.
um,
That's one thing I've seen just working with you for so long, that you've done a nice job of, going into the opportunity at Front Row, even during some of those things that are outside of your control or in your control, like just some of the setbacks throughout the season, staying focused, staying the course. You've talked a lot about just keeping that mentality and that culture, which obviously having good people around you like Drew and your entire group's allowing you to do that, to where you can rebound and get ready for the next week. Because I think that's just what creates a lot of sustainability. I think you've done a really nice job of handling those ups and downs and getting to the next week, right, and just continuing that process. I mean, I'm pretty dang proud of you. Like it's I've had so many conversations about, you go from having all that success to going to the Cup Series, and it's obviously a different level, but just creating that mentality and that mindset of like, hey, like you're going to be fine. You belong doing this stuff, and you don't have to make it. You have made it. Now it's just about chipping away at it. And I think you've done a really nice job of that, and still remaining who you are and having fun and cutting up and making people laugh and still having a good social media presence and doing a lot of things that most guys don't do in the industry, because it's a lot of times it gets monotonous or it gets like clockwork, and it's just the same thing over and over and over again. I think you've done a really good job at building your fan base, and it's cool to see, man. Like it's been 10 seasons that I've worked with you, and it's been a hell of a ride. It's been a lot of fun to be a part of. Yeah. That's for sure.
It has. I mean, I don't know if I could really speak for myself, but I just hope those that work around me, will look back in 20 years and think, man, those times were the best times I had during my career.
Yeah.
Because there's guys that I've worked with and might never work with them again. There's also guys that I've worked with where might come back and start working together. But I hope they can take during their career that they had the most fun and made the best memories with me.
Yeah, no doubt. I like that. I know your guys love you, appreciate you, and I know they're always enjoying being around you, and it's a good balance. And you guys push each other, but also have some fun and have some memories. I know, like we talked about at the beginning, from being a small part of the journey along the way, it's countless amount of memories and a lot of fun. Working with Jeff Jefferson and Jerry Pitts and being around during the Kyle Busch days and JRM, and even some of the tough times, at Petty GMS and going through that, because those are what make you better. They help chisel away at you and make you stronger for the long run. And but it's cool to see you have so much fun working with your group now, and that's important, because you got to be happy to have a clear head to go out there and go fast. So, man, I'm super proud of you. I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunities that you have. And I can't thank you enough for coming on and just catching up and talking about life and racing and where you come from. And man, keep it up. Like you belong. You're one of the guys. You've beaten a lot of the guys that you're racing against currently. So keep that mindset, and just super proud of you. Love you, and keep at it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Love you, brother.
Yeah, buddy. Love you too.